We're back on Get Up. Let's live in the hypothetical for a moment here, shall we? A game of what if. Graziano, I'll start with you. What if the Bengals this year, their defense winds up being average? Not terrible, just an average NFL defense.
And they're the scariest team in the league because, this is an offense that averaged 28 points a game last year. We had yesterday, they scored 33 points in 7 different games last year and lost 4 of them. You should win all 7.
Right.
And if that happens, then all of a sudden, not only are they in the playoffs, but they have a high seed. They got guys on there who know how to get to the Super Bowl because they've done it. I think they would be incredibly dangerous.
So we all think their offense is just unstoppable. Lewis, you have a question there.
Yeah, look, the offensive line. It's been in the bottom quarter of the league as measured by pass block win rate ever since Joe Burrow came into the league. I mean, you're playing with fire every single year as far as his availability and his durability, because as you see, it can be a jailbreak at any moment, which really, I'll tell you what, maybe they're not paying Joe enough. Maybe they should pay him a little bit more, because the fact that he's still excelling and they're scoring this many points when that kind of offensive line is amazing to me. And the odds are that's going to catch up to you. I hope to God it doesn't, but I'm telling you, you can't have your quarterback dealing with that kind of stuff year after year. It's just too much.
I talked to a secondary coach this offseason, and he said Joe Burrow is the most difficult quarterback to play against in the entire AFC. He's like, you get Patrick and you get Josh and you get Lamar, and those guys can make something out of nothing. They said that Joe never misses the something in the first place. That if something is open, he knows exactly where the football is supposed to go. And I think that's how he masked some of those issues with the offensive line, and he's going to have to do the same thing again this year.
Let me go to the next one. RC, I'll start with you. What if Caleb Williams throws for 4,000 yards this season?
It means the most important thing, they got it right. Right. This has never happened in the history of the Chicago Bears. It means they got it right by picking Caleb Williams, which is going to be the question until he can close the gap on who he is as a player and Jaden Daniels. And the second piece of it is they got it right in getting Ben Johnson to be the head coach, someone who's pressed Caleb Williams, someone who's pushed Caleb Williams and gotten the best out of his Heisman-winning #1 overall draft pick potential.
Yes, 100%. I co-sign all of that. What does it mean for the team? What could they be this season, Lewis, if Caleb Williams is that good?
Oh, they're contending for a wild card spot if a couple other things happen besides just the 4,000 yards, right? Because we know, this storm for yardage isn't just a telltale sign as far as how good you're actually playing. Can he cut down on that interception rate? Or rather, can he cut down on his sack rate, right? Yeah. Can he be better on third down? Can he really have situational mastery? If he can do those kinds of things, then I think that really leads to this football team being an efficient scoring machine, which is what they need to be.
And that's why, it's hard. This question is hard to be excited about because this is an individual thing.
If he plays well, it's hard to make the playoffs.
No, you don't know. Because look at the division they're in. Because guess what? Guess who can play well? J.J. McCarthy. Guess who can play well? Jordan Love. Guess who can play well? Jared Goff. That's the difficulty that the Chicago Bears face in being a team that contends for a playoff spot.
All true, but the root of this question is the fact that the Bears have never had a quarterback who has done this in a season. If this happens, there'll be a parade on Michigan Avenue. The Bears fans will be more excited than they've literally ever been about a quarterback before, and there's a lot to be said for that.
Yes, at the risk of overusing this line, it's a city that has produced a pope before it has produced a 4,000-yard passer. Okay, last one. Lewis, one more hypothetical. What if Matthew Stafford plays the entire season healthy this year?
Yeah, I think that you're looking at them being a participant in the NFC title game. Because if he plays all 17 games, that means he's feeling pretty good from week to week. The back isn't flaring up. He's probably getting in, enough practice time to stay sharp. And we know this. Look, Matthew Stafford, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback in my eyes. He just is. And this football team is better this year than it was last year. It is. It's going to be as explosive, if not more explosive, on the perimeter. All the youth on the offensive side, on the defensive side of the ball, is going to have another year under its belt. I think Chris Shula is an up-and-coming star as a defensive coordinator. And obviously, you know how we all feel about Sean McVay. Matthew Stafford is the key. They will be in it in the end if he plays the whole season.
You know what's weird to me, Dan? ESPN Bet, generally speaking, the people in Vegas just know things the rest of us don't. ESPN Bet loves the 49ers and does not love the Rams. Maybe that's a function of some of the injury questions.
Yeah, 49ers are playing a last-place schedule because their season fell apart due to injuries, and a lot of those key players are back. When you talk about Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, there's a reason to expect the 49ers to bounce back to where they were, which is perennial Super Bowl contender.
In the division.
Rams, you know, I think defense is where the questions are, right? Because there's a lot of footage out there of them just like playing against the Eagles and going like, wait, was that Saquon Barkley? I didn't even see him. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, they have to figure out how to do some tackling they weren't able to do last year. But the thing with Stafford is, it's worth watching because if it bothers him all year, then that could affect the way the offense.
I agree. It depends on his back. But even with that, not being able to tackle Saquon Barkley, they were Jalen Carter's 2 plays away from winning this game and hosting the NFC Championship. And I think that's why this team is focusing on this season and making sure Matthew Stafford is healthy enough to play because they believe they have everything in that building.
It's interesting that you say that about the 49ers.
Series rolls on in Williamsport today. 2 winners brackets games to start the day, then 2 elimination games. It all begins at 1 o'clock Eastern. All 4 games are on ESPN and ESPN+. Coming up, Giants say Russell Wilson is their starter. We'll tell you why and when they should pivot to rookie getting set to debut the end of the month. Listen to Coach Prime.
If you perform like you performed in that scrimmage, they're going to eat you alive. You might as well what they call it, disconnect your social media. Because now they kind. Do what you did out there in that scrimmage and see what they do. They're going to eat you alive. You got 12 days to get this thing together. 12 darn days to perfect our craft. 12 days. And some of y'all still trick-or-treat. Got on a costume. It ain't even Halloween. I know a football player when I see it. I know a coach when I see it too. And when we go out there, we gonna make sure we got at least 11 guys on the field at all times that want to play football, and we're gonna have coaches up there that really want to coach.
Yeah, bro, that was strong. He basically told them, you're a room full of imposters. And I think that's big for Deion Sanders. Like you said in the meeting, like this is the first time he's taken the field without Shedeur Sanders as a college coach. This is the first time in 3 years you're taking the field without Travis Hunter as a college coach. And I think this is going to be a year where people are going to look at Deion Sanders and really try to evaluate and critique what sort of head coach he is. This is going to be the toughest year for Deion since he's been in Colorado.
A wise man told me a long time ago, look, head coach's job is not just to coach the players, it's to coach the coaches. And he didn't just limit that to the players.
Yeah.
He said, some of y'all out there trick-or-treating, got a costume on. And he said, talking about just the players. He called out the coaches too. Yo, he's serious right now.
College football is 72 hours away.
We dang near back at Halloween.
And the NFL season
they
is
stink
right
as
around
hell
the
in
corner.
them costumes, Greeny.
All right, let's play a game of Believe It or Not. Lewis Riddick will lead the way on these, and we'll see what we think. Lewis, if I said J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings are going to win the NFC North, believe it or not?
No, I believe it. Look, I have ultimate faith in the structure that's around him, starting with the head coach, moving down to the quarterback coach, to the position-specific skills that everyone has on this team, from inside out, the offensive line, the backs, the wide receivers. And look, JJ is just one of those guys who, to me, has like uncommon resilience and strength and a belief in his ability. I think he's going to have a hell of a year, a breakout type of year in 2025.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if they win the North, because I believe you look at Detroit, you think about Green Bay. It's such a difficult division. But the one thing we forget about J.J. McCarthy is he was one of the top quarterbacks in the country when he was recruited. Michigan just played football a certain way. Think about the way Kevin O'Connell has gotten quarterbacks to play to the top of their potential, all the pieces that surround him, including Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator. The Minnesota Vikings are going to be one of those teams that can contend for an NFC championship.
The infrastructure is the key. I mean, they are a well-run, well-operated organization, well-coached, top to bottom. Problem is, so is Detroit, so is Green Bay, right? So it's a tough sell in their division. But yeah, I believe in the infrastructure there. I believe Kevin O'Connell knows what he's doing. He'll get the most out of this player, and I don't expect them to drop off very much at all.
Just keep this name at the forefront of your mind. I say it every year. Josh McCown has to ascend. Yeah. This has to be his year, and this could be his year, especially if JJ, on the back of Sam Darnold, winds up having one of those years where we go, where the hell did that come from?
Working with the quarterback. Let me go to the AFC next, Lewis. If I were to say Bo Nix and the Broncos